Alright, so here we have a light paint image that actually has some additional light paint lines added. This red that's coming through here, this blue, and there's another red one that's coming through. So if I turn off those, you can see how there's the blue, I just turned it off. The red thin one and a thicker red one. Okay, so we're going to turn off these layers. We have an image here that was manipulated earlier, which is our basic directions for our light painting, brought us to this point. So I'm going to show you how to add in some light painting lines that are actually drawn in using a pen tool. So what you want to do is you want to create a brand new layer here at the bottom. So you have a blank layer right up here, and you want to pick a color, so maybe use some of the colors in here like this green. Okay, and then you want to come over here and click on your brush tool, and you want to select a very crisp brush and a small brush, so maybe like a very crisp edge brush. And let's see how big that brush is. You want to check the diameter of the brush. It should be about the same diameter as some of these lines that you have painted in here. So I'm going to go with like a 35. That works fine for this image. Okay. And now I'm going to click on, I've got my brush diameter selected. I've got my brush color selected. Going to click on my pen tool and make sure I click on paths. Okay, we want to click on our paths button here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start creating these paths by creating anchor points. So I left click, and then I move to another area and I left click again, and you can see here how this is twisting. Okay, so this is starting to twist this way, and now I'm going to come over here and kind of twist this way, and come over here and kind of twist there. I'm starting to make these kind of very twisted lines that kind of feed in and out of my my light painted lines that I have already going here. So once I create a path starting at the top here, move my way all the way down to the bottom, I'm going to then right click on my mouse and going to go to stroke path. I'm going to click on stroke path, and I'm going to make sure I've got brush selected, and I'm going to, you can either click on simulate pressure or not. So I'm going to click on simulate pressure, say OK, and what happens is the line is filled in with that green, and the line is the thickness of the brush that you selected up here. Okay, so 36. So now I want to just click enter to get rid of that line that was there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some effects to this, but first I'm going to go ahead and blur this line out a little bit. Go to filter blur, because I want it to look a little blurred, kind of like my original lines. They already are a little bit softer, so I'm going to go to Gaussian blur and just going to blur out this line just slightly, maybe like a 4 or 5. I'll say OK. Now I want to add a layer mask to this, because I'm going to go in with my brush tool. I'm going to make it look like this line is kind of weaving in and out of my painted lines that I have here. So I'm going to have it look like it's kind of going behind this one right here, this line, this big ray of kind of a white reddish line here that I painted in originally. It's going to wrap underneath that. It's going to come around here. I'm going to make it look like it's going behind this section here. Right here, it's going to look like it's going behind this white one here, and this one right here. So it looks like it's kind of weaving in and out of these painted lines that I had from my original project. If I go in a little bit closer, I can see how it's starting to look like it's kind of going in and out here. It looks like I need to add it back in a little bit here. So you're going to use your layer mask tool, the white and the black here, to either remove or add back in. Looks like I need to take this off a little bit here, and also add it back in a little bit there. Too much, so go back in and take it out. Alright, and then come down and make a really small brush, make it look like it's going behind that red one there and behind this red one here. And that's very nicely has these like lines weaving in and out now. So let's add one more. I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer. I'm going to change my color. This time I'm going to put it to pink. Okay. And I'm going to go back in with my pen tool. I'm going to have it kind of weaving through here. So I'm going to start it over here and kind of weaving in and out, just a very free form line. Going to come through here, the center section right here, and just keep twisting and keep changing the angles. And then I'm going to come up here and go stroke path. Okay, and it fills in my pink. I think I want my stroke path to be just a little bit thicker though, so I'm going to come back to my brush. Yeah, I adjusted down to 8, so I'm going to put it back to like let's put it back to like 40, and come back to my pen tool, and again I'm going to do my stroke path and say okay, and it's going to make it a little bit thicker. Okay, so then I'm going to set it in place with my enter. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add a layer mask, and again I'm going to go in and use my brush tool to blend that in. I'm going, whoops, let's try that again. Back on my pen tool. I'm going to go stroke path. Okay. Alright, my color changed, so I got to go back over here and do that again. Select my pink. Okay. And enter. Come back over here to my pen tool, my stroke path. Okay. Okay, so let's figure out what's going on here. My stroke path's not being selected. Okay, so I backed up a couple steps. So I have my same stroke path selected. This time I have a 40 size brush. That's a nice crisp edge. My pink. So I'm going to click back on my pen tool. I'm going to right click, stroke path, simulate pressure, okay, and it fills it in. I'm going to go enter, and I've set my pink. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to apply a layer mask. I'm going to go in with my brush tool, make sure I have my black on top, and I'm going to crop in a little closer, and I'm going to make that pink start weaving in and out. So I'm going to take the pink off here and adjust my brush down a little bit and make it go look like it's going behind here. But I need to put it back because I took it off a little bit here, so put it back again. There we go. And going here, and then I'm going to come over here and do it behind this one. Move it over. I'm just going to check my entire line, see if there's anything there I want. No. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to have it going over that one there. I'm going to have it kind of going behind these ones here. The green one going behind the green one here. The green one here. come over and look at that line at the top. Gonna have it going behind this white one here. And these ones here. Gonna follow that line to the end and make it going behind those. So now I'm gonna go Control minus. Now it's time, you can see how we've got this like green and this pink line kind of weaving in and out. Now it's time to add a layer mask style. So we're going to double click on that and we're going to pull up our layer mask. So for our layer mask we want to do bevel emboss. Okay, let's see what happens when we do that. I'm going to crop in a little closer. You see how it kind of adds a little black line to that? Very nice. Gives the line a little bit of a dimension. We're going to do a drop shadow possibly, but maybe not. Maybe an outer glow. Outer glow would be good because then it'll kind of give it a but we want to definitely blur it. Okay, so we're going to bring the spread down. A little bit of an outer glow. Let's make that outer glow look more greenish because that's kind of the color we got here. So we want it to look like a greenish outer glow. And I'm actually going to bring the size down so it's a little more subtle. And the spread down and the size down a little bit. So it's a little more subtle. Once we do that and we like the way it looks, we can copy and paste that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go copy layer style and I'm going to paste the layer style. Okay. So now we added it to the pink one. However, we don't want a green one, so we're going to come over here on our outer glow and we're going to change it from green to more of a pink color because our outer glow here should be more pink. So let's do that. Okay. And I'm thinking I might even soften that bevel emboss a little bit because it needs to be blurred out a little bit. There we go. Okay. And now we're going to back up and we're going to look at this. That looks pretty darn cool. Let's go ahead and turn on the first three that we did earlier. And we can see here, we've got these lines weaving in and out. I don't think I want the red. I'm going to take that red out. We've got these lines weaving in and out, which really gives us a three-dimensional feel. Our image size on this again should be 8 by 10 with a 300 resolution, and then you're going to save this in your P drive, but also in first you want to save it in your U drive, but then after that save it in the P drive in the light painting folder. Just call it light painting 1 _ your first initial last name.